The end of a friend's life. I have a friend who has gone missing. I will write about what my friend told me and what I experienced before my friend went missing. There was a time when my friend enjoyed driving and visiting noodle shops, and was driving around on his days off. When he smoked cigarettes at a smoking place, he sometimes chatted with truck and cab drivers because their brands were rare. This story was told to me by a brother who was a former truck driver who became friends with me coming in the same time zone. The man worked for a transportation company. At first it was the usual small talk, but then he told me a scary story about a horror special on TV that had been on the day before. My friend casually asked, "Why did your brother start working around here?" The answer was this story. The following is the brother's story. When I was taking a break at a roadside station after my delivery that day, a Yankee senior at the same company approached me. We talked about how pissed off I was about today's delivery and how I made a lot of money because I got a lot of balls in the pachinko machine. After talking, we got hungry and had dinner at a restaurant attached to the building. After dinner, they went outside for a smoke and saw a beautiful woman in the smoking area. She was quite beautiful and attractive. They were both chatting and smoking, but there was something so attractive about her that naturally drew their gazes to her. They were both excited to see each other and said that she was their type. The woman must have noticed their gazes, because she said to them, "Good evening, I see you have a hard day at work," and as the three of them chatted, the older woman asked, "Is your sister a model or a celebrity? She is so beautiful. She's my type." She started to make a fierce attack on me. I casually nudged her by saying, "Don't say too much or you'll be sexually harassed," but she couldn't stop talking. The woman was smiling and saying, "It's okay," but I thought I might be bothering her, so I asked her to come with me to pick out some souvenirs. The senior was complaining, but when I told her that she would be in trouble if she received a complaint from the company, she looked dissatisfied but said, "I don't have a choice." He seemed to be satisfied with the situation. When I went outside after shopping for souvenirs, the woman who had just left was looking around with a troubled look on her face. I thought something was wrong and tried to talk to her, but the older lady dashed off. When I caught up with him, I called out to him and he told me that he had apparently met up with a friend who was driving and had called him to say that his car had broken down and he could no longer pick him up. He said he was having trouble getting a cab, but for some reason his phone was disconnected. As soon as he heard this, the senior said, "I'll give your sister a ride, and if there is a way to get the truck in, I'll go to the nearest place. I'll come as close as I can if there's a way to get the truck in." I guess it is the same in every company, but it is not acceptable to let people from other companies ride on the truck. Our company was not allowed to let backpackers or other people on the truck to avoid trouble. I told him, "I heard the name of the place, but it's not more than 10 minutes from here. I'll send a car right away." He would not listen to me. I tried to tell the woman who was trying to get in, but she was guarding me and wouldn't let me go near her. I was concerned that he was more stubborn than usual, but he said, "It's okay, okay. I'm asking you to do me a favor. I'm counting on you." He gave her a tapera-like expression and let her on board. The woman looked out the window and said, "I'm sorry your brother took so much of my time as well. Thank you for your kindness." She bowed her head with a smile. It was my senior's fault for not stopping when she reached this point. "I'll be right there," he said as he headed toward the driver's side of the car. "I'm going back to the office after I drop your sister off," and left the station. This was the last conversation I had with him. I told my boss about the incident at the roadside station, thinking that I wouldn't want any trouble back at the company, and he said, "That's the rule to protect ourselves and the company." He was waiting for his senior to come back. However, I waited for 3 hours and they did not come back at all. Everyone else returned, but only the senior worker's truck did not come back even after the designated time. My boss, who had heard about what had just happened, seemed to think something was wrong and got in touch with the president to inform him of the situation. The truck was supposed to be equipped with a GPS system, but according to its history, it inexplicably stopped running a few kilometers after leaving the roadside station. We checked with other employees to see if they had seen him, and even asked the delivery address, but he had disappeared completely. The president of the company came back and informed the police that the employees in the truck were missing. The brother was to stay behind because he was a concerned employee, and the other employees and office staff were sent home by the boss. After the police arrived, the brother explained what had happened. The supervisor and the president were checking the GPS history with the police on their computers, and they asked the police officer, "And is this road ahead?" "Yes, the road is not wide enough for trucks." The police officer said, "Yes, it's not wide enough for trucks." I heard him saying, "I don't know why they put them in here." I could hear a few place names, but it was pretty clear. I heard a few place names, but it was a village with a narrow road near a mountain, not a place where large trucks could enter. After listening to the conversation for a while, my boss and the police told me that it was safe to go home. He had to take 2 days off from work because he had a public holiday, but even while he was absent, he was worried about what had happened. When I arrived at work later that day, it was like I had poked a beehive. I wondered what was going on, but was told that my senior's truck had been found outside of the prefecture and the president was on his way to check it out. However, someone had heard the president blabbering about the strange location where it was found, and the employee said, "It seems to be on a mountain road around National Route 20. But when I checked the road, I found that it was not a place where trucks could pass. Everyone was wondering why he was in such a place. An employee came running out of the office. Senior caller. I'm connected now. All the employees stormed into the office at once. The supervisor in the office said, "Do you hear me?" he shouted loudly. The office manager seemed to be in contact with the police. I held out hope that if they stayed connected, they might be able to trace the call or something. Then he said, "Oh, you are the person who picked up my cell phone. I'm sorry, where did you get this cell phone?" And then the boss's words stopped. Suddenly, the boss staggered, dropped the receiver, and fell straight down. Everyone present was surprised. Then, although no one touched it, it went to speakerphone and a woman's voice said, "If there is a boy named Kuroda-kun, would you please pick up the phone? If not, another man will do." Why is my name being called? Who the hell is on the other end of the phone? Why had my boss fainted? The questions came one after another. When I was confused, an employee tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Kuroda, your brother's last name, come on, pick up. You've been summoned, please." He pleaded with a blue face. Not because the employee told me to, but for some reason I felt I had to talk to this woman. She said, "Hello, I'm calling on your behalf. This is Kuroda." The woman said, "Oh, Kuroda-kun? Do you recognize my voice? We spoke at the roadside station, do you remember?" "Yes, I remember." "Oh, I'm so glad. That man was a little too energetic. I have a few questions." "Yes, go ahead. By the way, your boss was too loud, so I asked him to shut up. He has a loud voice." The woman giggled. "Woman, I'm going to ask you point blank, what happened to your senior?" The woman said, "Oh, that guy? Like I said before, he was too energetic, you know. It was good that he was so energetic, but he was a crude man, so I moderated him. He was noisy, so I just let him roll." "What did you just say?" The woman said, "Oo City in Oo Prefecture. The place is called Oo Town. I think it's somewhere in the middle of the mountains. I left it there with the truck." "What? That's ridiculous." The woman says, "If you think I'm lying, check it out. I looked at your GPS and it looks like this is definitely the place." I wrote down the name of the place I was told and handed it to another employee. Everyone was moving hurriedly behind me. "I understand," she said. "I want to ask you one more time, Is your senpai safe? Also, how do you know my name? The woman said, I don't think he's safe. I heard Kuroda's name from a guy. I love girls like you. Even if Kuroda-kun ran away, I will definitely look for him. I like you so much. Oh, it looks like someone's here. Goodbye. I'll see you soon. The call was cut off. Where's the senior? Is he dead? Rolling over? What was the last conversation we had? What would happen this time if I saw that woman again? Suddenly I got dizzy on my feet and passed out as it was. When I awoke, I was in a nearby emergency room. A nurse nearby saw me get up and went to call the doctor. The doctor told me that 3 days had passed and that I must have suffered a mental breakdown due to the stress caused by the loss of someone close to me. His family came and rejoiced that he was okay, but it was not a situation for us to rejoice. When I contacted the company, the office staff told me that a supervisor was on his way in your direction now. The following information was given to me by the supervisor. The truck and the senior were found. The location was exactly where the GPS and phone call said it would be. In addition to the senior, we found traces of someone else, possibly a woman. The tracks of someone else, who was possibly a woman, were found, but no one has been able to trace her. The boss doesn't know why she fainted during the call. He has no memory of what happened after he was told, "Shut up, you." He has no memory of it. The senior was dead. The way he died seemed unusual, so we carefully checked the operation records and security camera footage. What do you mean by unusual manner of death? When I questioned him about it, his supervisor came up with some unexpected words. He said, the body was dried up and looked as if it had been dead for several weeks. He was in a mummy-like state, as if all of his bodily fluids had dried up. I felt a chill run down my spine. How did my senpai end up in such a situation? Who was that woman? I have no idea. The older brother got scared and quit the company. And he decided to move to a faraway place. His parents were against it, but his fear of the woman won out. If he moved far away, wouldn't he be able to avoid seeing her? He wanted to run away immediately. So the brother said to his friend, "That's why I came to this land. For some reason I felt that if I stayed this far away, it would be all right. I have to move because of that thing. I knew I had to come far away." The brother took out a cigarette and began to smoke. After taking a breath, he spoke up like this. "Actually, there were some strange rumors back then. I saw a backpacker or someone in trouble. And to my surprise, she was the type of woman I liked. I couldn't resist and gave her a ride, whether it was out of ulterior motive or out of kindness. After giving her a ride, rumor had it that the driver was found dead in an unusual condition. I guess he couldn't resist. I don't know why I'm safe. Also." He sighed, scratched his head, and spoke. He scratched his head and said, "Senpai and I have different tastes in women. My senior likes women who are many years older than he is. He likes women who are a few years older than he is. When he goes out for sex, he always goes for older women. I like younger women. We were talking about how our tastes don't match at all. I saw her as a young woman, but she probably saw me as an older woman. The fact that we both said we liked each other so much was unnatural. I wonder what that woman was all about." When he finished speaking, the trucker's brother laughed lightly. He said, "Well, here's the story. Sorry for scaring you." My friend said, "I didn't know this kind of thing could happen." The older man said, "Well, I didn't think this would happen either. Kindness is a good thing, but it's better to check who you're dealing with. Especially if it's someone you like, it makes you less cautious." My friend said, "Okay, I really have to be careful. It's like, hopefully I won't meet that woman." "Brother, I don't want to meet her either. I feel like if I meet her, it's over. It's time for me to go, so I'll be going. You take care of yourself and go home." "My friend, I'm leaving soon, 2. Be safe. Brother, oh, see you later. If I see you again, I'll buy you a cup of coffee or something. See you later. The brother waved and walked to his car. The gold and black rings on his index and middle finger shone. My friend decided it was time to leave and headed home. When he told me the story on the drive, this happened to me. And when he told me the story, he was the same friend as usual. It was 1 month after I told him this story. On a night drive, I thought to myself, oh, by the way. And I asked him how his brother was doing. I talked to him. My friend said, I was wondering if I could talk to you about that story. Can we stop the car and talk about it? He said. I parked the car at a nearby roadside station, sighed, and held my head in my hands. Worried, I call out to him. My friend says, actually, it might not be good for me either. Something bad happened. What my friend told me was as follows: it's always a certain night of the week. I can't find the car of the brother who always came at the fixed time. 1 week, 2 weeks, a month. Did he quit his job? Did he get transferred? Or was he in an accident or suddenly ill? Along with the thought, no way, that's the story. I hadn't seen him at all recently. I checked to see if there was a car and then headed for the smoking area. He was not there today either. I wondered what was wrong. I enter the unmanned smoking area and take out a cigarette. I casually turn my head. At that moment, my body stops moving. My body froze as if I was in a kinbaku, gold bind. A woman approached me. I couldn't make a sound. The smell of cigarettes in the smoking area changed to the smell of the perfume of the woman approaching in front of me. A hand was placed on my chin, my face was turned slightly upward, and my eyes met the woman's. She had long hair and a well-defined face. She was a very beautiful woman with long hair and a well-defined face. She pulled down my neck warmer and stroked my neck. She put her hand on my right shoulder. The next moment, the hand that was stroking my neck was suddenly grabbed by the throat and choked me. I can't move. I couldn't breathe, but my hands wouldn't move. I was about to lose consciousness when I heard a voice saying, "Oh my God. What's wrong? Could it be?" The woman's hands relaxed and she fell to the floor. She coughed and tried to run away. I'm sorry. I was picked up and made to sit on the floor. My back was now against the smoking room wall, and I was able to move from my wrists onward. Then the woman lowers the mask that was on my face. One hand touched my chest, the other reached under my neck warmer and touched my throat. "Oh, I'm sorry. You are a woman." She stroked my cheek as he said this. He took a pack of cigarettes in my right hand, took out a cigarette, lit it in his mouth, and exhaled the smoke. He put the cigarette in my mouth. "You're moving, aren't you? You're moving now, aren't you? Can you breathe? No one can come in while I'm here, so you can rest." The woman laughed. "I thought you were a man," she said. "I'm sorry I frightened you. Are you hurt?" She looked interested in my cigarettes and asked, "Have you never seen these cigarettes before? May I have one if you don't mind? And may I borrow your light?" She crouched down. I handed her a lighter and lit it. The woman says, "Thank you. I've never seen a black cigarette before, and I like the sweet flavor." She tells me, "I've never seen such a black cigarette." I say, "I like your cigarettes, not many people smoke that brand, thank you." For some reason, I found myself feeling like I had to talk to this woman. My friend said she felt like she would be in terrible trouble if she didn't answer the question. "Well, I haven't met this flavor very often," she said. "Your cigarettes smell good," I said. "Who are you?" "Me? You heard from the truck driver. I'm here to see her." I didn't think it was possible, but was she the woman of that story? But there must have been no one in the vicinity who had heard this story. My friend said she was scared at this stage. But he felt a mysterious sense of duty to tell me, and his curiosity got the better of him, so he asked a lot of questions. I said, "You are kidding, right? That's impossible." The woman turned to me and said, "It's true. I've been chasing her for a long time. I'm the type of person who won't give up on a girl once I'm attracted to her." I said, "What happened to your brother?" She said, "I caught him. He looked surprised when he saw me." The woman turned to me, laughed, and replied, "Well, I've already found you. Well, I've already found you. I won't let you go. We'll be together forever." The woman finished her cigarette and looked down at me. She looked down at me and began to talk. She looked down at me and started talking. It's rare to find a girl who asks so many questions. Most men are either silent, crying, or apologizing. The woman tilted her head and looked at me. The woman looked at me. "Well, we need a girl like this, not a guy, but I'm the kind of girl who doesn't care about gender if I like her." The woman looked at me with sparkling eyes. "I'm glad it was you who told me about this. Even girls want to try their hand at least once, but if they end up like me, I feel sorry for them. That's what I've decided so far." When the woman comes to the front, she squats down and touches my cheeks with her hands. Perhaps because she was smiling with her mouth open, I could see her white pointed teeth and bright red mouth. For some reason, I think my eyes met the driver's. But hey, it's nice to have one girl to talk to, right? I'm a lonely girl. The woman smiled as she looked at me. "I like you too," she said. "I'm going to see you again. We'll have fun playing tag. It'll be like being a kid again. We'll see each other again." The woman patted her friend on the cheek. "I'm going to have another cigarette," she said, taking one from a pack of cigarettes she was carrying. The woman smiled and turned away to leave. As she turned away, I saw something sticking out of her long hair around her neck. It was a finger. 2 fingers were sticking out and had something familiar on them. It was a black and gold ring that the brother always wore on his index and middle fingers. Just as the woman was leaving, I heard her clearly from the back. "Run away. Don't be like me." I was sure it was the voice of the brother who always spoke to me in a friendly manner. The woman walked away. Her body started to move, and the fear came late. My friend crawled out of the house. My friend also quit smoking. He thought that moving out of the prefecture was futile because of his brother's case, and he had to go to an exorcism several times. I accompanied him myself, but he seemed desperate. A few weeks later, my friend said, "Oh my God, I've tried exorcisms and everything, but it doesn't seem to work. I want you to think that's what happens when you disappear. I've had a lot of weird experiences, but I don't think I can escape this one." I pulled down my neck warmer, thinking that this was just another mark left on me. It left a mark on my neck as if I had been grabbed. He said some shrines and temples refused to exorcise him. My friend no longer visits that place. A few months after I told this story, my friend went missing. He said the bruise on his neck that wouldn't go away after a month was gone. I don't know if the exorcism worked, or if the driver protected him, or if the woman lost interest in him, but just as I was holding out hope that he seemed to be okay. A few days after we lost contact with her, her family told us that only her car was left on a road deep in the mountains of a certain prefecture and that she was missing. I helped search the area, but could not find it. There were no signs of a struggle inside the car, but my friend's blood was found on the seat. There was also what appeared to be someone's saliva. There was talk that he might have been attacked by a pervert. No progress was made in the investigation, and the friend has yet to be found. Also, an unused cigarette was found on the passenger seat. Before that incident, a black, sweet-smelling cigarette that my friend had smoked before he quit smoking. I guessed it when I heard it. That his friend had become just like him. This concludes this story. Thank you for listening to the end.